Adrianne Lenker is a singer-songwriter that you may know better for being the singer of the band Big Thief. A band that I initially wrote off unfairly. It wasn't particularly that kind of stuff that I was totally into. It just sounded like bog standard folk type stuff, which I quickly realised that I was wrong about, because in 2019 they dropped 2 albums, which is usually quite risky, but it turned out that the 2 albums that they dropped really paid off, and they put out some of their best material to date, with Two Hands being easily one of my favourite albums of 2019. I quickly became a big fan of what they do. I think Two Hands took their sound a little bit further, and they dived into some unknown territory and some really interesting things that we hadn't heard from them before, particularly in the track Not, which is just such an absolute stellar single. But thankfully, to spoil us even more, Adrianne has a solo career, a pretty consistent and steady solo career too, having dropped albums over the past however many years, being very good albums at that too, particularly Hours Worth Birds that came out in 2013. Definitely a 2013 highlight that I wish I'd got on a lot sooner than I did, because that man, that is a beautiful little listen. Here we are with Songs, which really isn't any less of a beautiful listen. It's different in what she's going for. It's a little bit more similar to Hibiscus, but this time around, the melodies that she conjures up on the guitar are just to die for throughout, and the vocal performances are utterly perfection. You expect great lyrics from her all the time anyway, but I can't exactly express enough how good the writing is on this album. Just reading into the lyrics, the poetry that she manages to just come up with, it is just stunning. One thing I do love to find in music, and I have found in this album here, is that when an artist does so much with so little. Like, the production here is very simple. The presentation of the album is very simple as well. But Adrianne just does so much with it. Like, you don't usually come across these kinds of guitar melodies, these vocal melodies, these really passionate vocals that are so subtle but incredibly effective. And it's like listening to something that you would hear on an Ichiko Aoba album, and I'm obviously a big fan of hers, so hearing anything that reminds me of that is very much just ticking all the boxes for me. Lots of songs about, you know, love, breakups, and just kind of pouring your heart into another person. True Reverse is the opening track here, where she's just questioning, is it a crime to feel the way she does about someone? I'm assuming they may have already broken up and she's still feeling the same way about them, and now it's just like kind of trying to I guess accept those feelings, and maybe trying to reel off how you feel about someone to them. But even when you don't necessarily pay attention to the lyrics, you just hear such beautiful songwriting across this whole thing. I mean, Half a Turn, Jesus Christ, it just sounds absolutely beautiful. This instrumental is to die for. It's like being covered by an absolutely warm blanket that you'll just never be able to leave. Voluntarily too, you're voluntarily being sucked away into this blanket. The track Zombie Girl is another massive highlight too. Once again, just the writing on here is amazing. Kind of this idea that she's being sucked into this dream about this person, and then as soon as she leaves the dream, she kind of has to go back to normal life and realize that perhaps this person isn't the same as what it is in the dream, or the life that she was living is very different. I love the lines as well, where she says, sleep paralysis, I sworn I could have felt you there. And the other one as well, this is such a great line on the album, dreaming I could feel your skin, but the dream escaped so easily, and I woke up to the road again. And there's so many great little moments like this in the poetry on this album, particularly in tracks like Dragon Eyes, which again might be one of the best written tracks here. Totally reminds me as well, with like the wordplay and the way that she just conjures up these really interesting ideas. Totally reminds me of someone like Joanna Newsom, where you just listen to the songwriting and you think, damn, only one person could do that, and that is you. And that's this track for Adrianne Lenker. Very beautifully written, the way she talks about, you know, the dragon eyes and the eggs and stuff, and then the lines as well, where she's talking about how she doesn't want to change them, but she also doesn't want to change. And then the line later on where she says, I'm changing you, you are changing. Just this really interesting way to express how, you know, relationships can change you, but It may not always be for the best, and you can't exactly judge where things are going to go from that. There's a really interesting moment with the track Come as well, which I just can't make heads or tails of this one. It's extraordinarily melancholic. Like, the melancholy on this one is unmatched. Like, it really is one of the saddest songs you'll hear all year. And then you read the lyrics too, which seems to be this really painful song about suicide. Lines like, take me into the shore, I'm weightless in the sea, and you know, asking if the person, well, it seems as though it's her daughter, if she can take her and like take the pain away and take her life into her life. Just a really interesting song. I'm not sure if it's, you know, from the first person or she's telling a story with this one. Really hard to tell, but the lyrics, man, oh, they will hit you hard reading into this. But luckily, it's not like every moment on the album is like this. I mean, you have tracks like Anything, which is just such a beautiful love song. Easily one of the best love songs I think I've heard in quite a while. The entire lead up to the chorus, I gotta read this, man, because this is just, this, man. Want to listen to your hands soothe, listen to your heart beating, listen to the way you move. And I don't want to talk about anything. And I don't want to talk about anything. I want to kiss, kiss, kiss your eyes again. Shit's just so beautiful, man. Ooh, God damn, how she writes songs like this, I don't know. From front to back, the song is just written so damn well. Like, the pure love and adoration that Adrianne has for this other person is unmatched, and the way she writes it too is just perfect. The same with the closing track as well, My Angel. Exactly the same, where she's just pouring herself into another person, obviously referring to them as my angel. And then the song has this really abrupt ending, which is interesting, but the lines in the track kind of relate back to Anything as well, where she says she kisses my eyelids. Obviously the same sort of idea of Anything, which is a really specific thing to write about, which I appreciate about that idea, because, you know, a lot of love songs don't focus on those little minor things and those minor details, but obviously Adrianne focuses on those things. Think about most love songs, about how they're usually just like, you're so beautiful, you make me sad, I just can't be without you. But of course Adrianne takes it one step further with her writing, and write songs about kissing eyes. No one else does that. The stunning guitar melody on Not a Lot, Just Forever definitely reminds me of something Nick Drake would do. Just the really, really like gorgeous instrumentation that swallows up albums like Pink Moon, for example. Just totally reminds me of this moment here. Once again, I love the writing here, but even if I didn't love the writing, or the writing wasn't as top-notch as it is, I still think the melody would be enough to carry this song, because Adrianne's performances are just so lovely to listen to. Honestly, she's so warming in the way that she sings, and again, the instrumentals really back that too. But then the lyrics talking about the significant other or someone that she's with, you know, expressing that love for Adrianne. The line where she says, and your dearest fantasy is to grow a baby in me. I could be a good mother, and I want to be your wife. Oh, it's just so lovely, isn't it? So lovely. She says it way better than I do, but it's just so lovely. I could probably pull out all the lyrics all day long and point out little bits that I think are really nice, really heartwarming, heart-heating, heart-radiating, whatever you want to call it. But I can't exactly keep talking forever. And listening to this album over and over again will keep reminding me of how good she is as a songwriter anyway, and picking up those little lyrical moments that are absolutely fantastic. There'll be loads more that I've probably missed, so that's what I like about albums like this. And yeah, for me, this is easily one of the best singer-songwriter albums of the year. I feel like I've been really positive lately. I've given a lot of 8 out of 10s over the past few weeks. It seems like one album per week keeps getting that score, which I think is really great. Because obviously there's just so much good music out anyway, but for this one it is definitely an 8 out of 10. I do hope people feel the same way. I mean, if you're looking for this kind of music, this really soft, subtle, folk type stuff from a really, really fantastic songwriter, then I don't know why you wouldn't want to check this out. So hopefully you do check it out. It is highly recommended from me. Thank you for watching this review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you have already heard the album. That would be great. Thank you for watching this review. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss videos. And that's it. Have a good day and goodbye.